Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Harka fuune daawwattoota keenyaaf hordoftoota keenya. Welcome to another live discussion with Ollaa's Education Department. My name is Biftu Adema, and I am one of the volunteers for Ollaa's Education Department. Our topic for today, as it has been in previous weeks, is Afaan Oromoo, the importance of learning Afaan Oromoo and Oromo history and culture, especially among the youth in the diaspora. And today, I have two very special guests, Baredu Abraham and Tim Koch. Welcome. We're happy to have you guys here. And so before we get into the discussion, I wanted to give them both an opportunity to introduce themselves and to tell us a little bit about themselves. And I'm going to start with Baredu. Baredu, would you take a moment to introduce yourself, please? Tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to the Ollaa Afaan Oromoo classes as well.
Thank you, Biftu. Galatoma, Ollaa, and Biftu. Maqaan kiyya Baredu Abraham. And bakka dhaloota kiyya Bishooftuudha. So I was born in Bishoftu, and I Canada maatiin waliin dhufne. Kenya irra ture, yeroo ani xiqqoo ture. So I was born in Bishoftu, and when I was young, I came to Canada and lived in Kenya with my family for a while. And I found Ollaa through Instagram and through family as well. So.
All right, thank you. Amma sirra deebii baga nagaan dhufte siin jedha. Welcome. All right. All right, Tim, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself as well and tell us a little bit about how you came to the Afaan Oromoo classes that Ollaa offers.
Galatoma. Maqaan koo Tim jedhama. Amma New York jiraadha. Garuu Oromiyaa keessa jiraadhe. Ani hojiin hin qabu garuu mirga nama barate. So I have studied human rights and politics. I lived in Oromia for 9 months in the Ilubabor region. And I found Ollaa through searching online for different diaspora organizations, because when I came back to the United States, especially in New York, there's not a large Oromo speaking population in New York. And I thought getting in touch with these diaspora associations would give me the opportunity to meet Oromo people and be able to practice my language with them.
Very well. Thank you, Tim. Baga nagaan dhufte. We're so happy to have you here with us. The first question that I have is for the both of you. Why do you guys think that it is important to learn Afaan Oromoo? As well as telling us a little bit about your experience when it comes to how you learned Afaan Oromoo. I'll start with Baredu. Baredu dhikkuma nutti himuu dandeetta? Maaliif Afaan Oromoo barachuun barbaachisaa ta'e? Akkasumas immoo akkamitti Afaan Oromoo barachuutti eegalte? You're muted.
Galatoma. The reason why I would like to learn Afaan Oromoo, or that I've been trying to learn Afaan Oromoo, is connection. So maatii waliin dubbachuu fi seenaa fi aadaa barachuu barbaade. So kanaafi na barbaachise ka Afaan Oromoo baradhu. Akkas.
Tole, guddaa galatoom dhugaa keetii maatii kan keetiin wal barachuuf isaan dubbisuuf Afaan Oromoo dubbachuun barbaachisaadha. Akkasumas immoo seenaa baruufis baay'ee barbaachisaadha. Thank you. Tim, can you tell us why you think it's important to learn Afaan Oromoo and a little bit of your experience when it comes to Afaan Oromoo?
Sababinsa hiriyoota koo wajjin haasa'uu barbaada.
Okay. Hiriyoota kee wajjin haasa'uu barbaadda?
Yes, for me, it's about I want to learn and practice my Afaan Oromoo to speak with my friends back in Oromia and to have more meaningful and deeper conversations with them. I had like formal training in Afaan Oromoo for around 3 months, and we were taking classes for like 3 hours a day for 3 months. I think it was like 6 days a week or something like that. And that was like really good. It made us pick up the language really fast. But in my opinion, my language skills are very survival based. I can go to the market, I can go to different restaurants and travel around Oromia, but when it comes to like deeper conversations, I don't have that ability yet.
Yet. So you want to get there. Good. All right. And then my second question is also for the both of you. When did you start learning Afaan Oromoo, and how did you start? I know that, Tim, you talked to us a little bit about how you had formal Afaan Oromoo training. Baredu, can you tell us a little bit about when you started to learn Afaan Oromoo, and how did you start?
Sure. As a child, Pakiya na Barsise. So in the summers and on the weekends, we would spend like time, like basically having classes at home, and he would teach us like right from Bachada and then all through like body parts and days of the week. Guya, yeah, Guya
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how I started, and then growing up as well, we did listen and watch a lot of cultural and Afaan Oromoo like Ada music, and so that's how I learned Ada, by practicing, watching, and listening. I would always be asking my parents and family what the meanings would be, and trying to figure it out, learning that way. So I really learned a lot through my father, and through music. I would pay attention to the lyrics and try and figure out what they were, what it means.
Okay, very good.
And then just to add to that, going further later on, learning Afaan Oromoo for me meant reaching out to Oromo, like opportunities within the Oromo community, and so people like Adekwe Kumsa were really important for me in learning about the Oromo culture, and as she considered me as her research assistant, and so that was a great opportunity for me to learn about Mare and Atete and Adoye through research with her, and also the Oromo community in Toronto definitely made a huge impact on me, with Opo Badri and Ade Aisha as well. They really made a big impact on my Oromo community culture and culture learning.
Okay, thank you so much, Baredu.
Thank
Sounds
you.
like you've had a rich experience in learning Afaan Oromoo.
Very lucky.
Tim, do you want to tell us in a little bit more detail about what those Afaan Oromoo classes were like at the beginning? I know that you mentioned that you guys learned them for like 6 days a week, about 3 hours every single day. Is there anything that you would like to add to that, for us to understand a little bit more about how you started to learn Afaan Oromoo?
Sure. So I think first of all, I have to thank Barsisa Haile fi Barsisa Abera for teaching me. But so during those 3 months, I lived in a town called Tia. It's a smaller town on the border of like the southern nations, Gurage and Oromia. Like the town is actually kind of split between the two regions. But during that time I was living there. I was taking a bunch of other classes as well. But what we were learning from there was like kind of what we needed to be able to survive, like in how we could get there and like make these like initial connections of the greetings, the going to the market, being able to buy food and things like that. So it was mainly like situational based, like, and learning what you really needed and have to know to be able to like thrive in the situation. And then also during that time, I lived with like a host family, and they spoke like very little English, so I had to communicate with them in Afaan Oromo. And actually, it's an interesting story because the younger son of the family didn't speak any Afaan Oromo before I got there, but since I had come and was kind of like forcing the family to speak more Afaan Oromo, he had picked up on it because he was mainly speaking like Goraginya and Amharic. But also, I think one of the like really nice experiences in that town was previously my organization had used that as an Amharic language site, like where you would learn Amharic. And when we would walk around the town and we didn't know Amharic but speak Afaan Oromo, it would be like a very positive experience to people that they were like, oh, they're learning Afaan Oromo instead of Amharic. So it was like nice to see people's like eyes kind of light up and like, oh, they're learning Afaan Oromo.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that, Tim. All right. And then again, for the both of you, can you tell us what you guys have? I'm assuming that you both are in the Ollaa Adult Afaan Oromo classes, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you share with us a little bit about what you guys have been learning in the level 2 Adult Afaan Oromo classes that Ollaa offers? I'll start with Baredu.
Hayyee. Baay'ee hedduu baranne. We started with the alphabet, so Bachara, and then the Guya, Jia, also the seasons. Amma waan nu baranne takkan mali jechuu baranne. So yeah, Tim, would you like to add?
Yeah, Tim, can you tell us? Malaka Batatan, Dare Afaan Oromo, Ollaa, level 2, Kesa.
So we learned a lot of things. First we were going over the grammar and things of that, subjects and predicates, kind of identifying those parts of the sentence. We recently were going over numbers in like a fun kind of song way to learn it. And also now we're doing greetings. What I like most about the class is like the exposure to the history and culture side also. Usually we're always listening to music, which I enjoy. I think it's a great way to like learn more about the culture and the language.
Okay. All right. Tole, galatomi. Gaafiin itti aansee qabu Bareedduu fi can you tell us your experience in connecting with family back home and how that has been challenging for you, if it has been challenging for you? Xiqqoosi nutti himuu dandeettaa? Qarallee dubbataa turte Afaan Oromoo sababii nan barachuu barbaaduuf maatii kiyya kan biyya jiru isaan wajjin haasa'uuf jedhaa turte. Muudannoon kan kee karaa saniin maal akka ta'e nutti himuu dandeettaa?
Yeroo an bara 2018 deemee maatii waliin ture. So maatii ka abbaa kiyya gara Kofalee irra jiran fi Shashamannee. Maatii haati tiyya gara Bishooftu jiran fi Finfinnee. So yeroo an achi deema afaan Oromoo fi Amarinya barachuu barbaade. So kanaafi yeroo sanii ijoollee ka obboleessaa fi obboleettii ijoollee san ka abbaa kiyya waliin dubbanne, and then
Durboota kee jechuu.
akkas.
Okay.
And at that time I started using a little book and started translating. So I got my own little dictionary. And then Yerosani, I was lucky I was able to speak to my great-grandmother in Afaan Oromo, my grandfather as well. So it was very unique and special for me to be able to connect with them that way. So even with my cousins, I learned, and I would ask them, bother them, but they were very helpful. And so I'm grateful for that experience. But it was challenging in maneuvering through the traveling as well. That was, I wish something that once I improve, will be much better in the future. And so I do look forward to that and implementing.
So this is your experience in 2018 when you went back home.
Yes.
That's how you were
Yeah,
maneuvering.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, good. Very good. And Tim, my next question is for you. I know you talked about this and it may sound a little bit redundant, but this is an opportunity for you to share whatever you didn't and when I ask you the other questions. But what was your experience like in Oromia? And what was your experience like with the Oromo people in that community? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So after my training, I had moved to a town called Uka in the Ilubabwa region. It's in the Halu Wareda. It's kind of near Metu or Gore on the road to Gambella. So it's like a much smaller town and rural. And there I was teaching ninth grade English, Inglifa Barsise. And also I was just kind of like, it's a lot of it is like a cultural exchange. And I think that's one of the biggest things that had stuck with me through it, because the people in my community, they always wanted to include me in these different cultural celebrations and share like what was going on in the town with me. So for example, I had been to a number of weddings and different holiday celebrations, even though I definitely did not know the bride or the groom. And also one thing I thought was really fun, they took me to one of these rural kabeles that they had built this gigantic bridge over this valley, which I assume it was during the dry season at the time. But during like the wet season, I assume this valley was like completely flooded with water, which in turn made it more difficult for, the students to get to school or people to get to like the main market in my town from the rural kabeles. So they had opened this like big gigantic bridge, and they had invited me to the like the opening and the celebration of that, which was something really interesting. And then also I think what was cool, I had met a bunch of like the abagadas in my wareda. One was actually, yes.
Okay.
So that was interesting, like learning about this like system of like cultural local governance. And one was actually the brother of one of my work colleagues. So I was able to like talk to them and learn more about the Gada system.
Okay.
And just overall, it was like such a great time being like included and being like shown these different cultural celebrations and institutions, because they're always like, oh, why are you sitting in your home? Come and hang out. We'll show you the town and everything. So that was like one of the most fun things about it.
Good. So very inclusive and a warm and welcoming community was your experience. I'm glad. Baredu, my next question is for you. And can you tell us a little bit more about your experience with, well, I think you have, but if there's anything that you'd like to add with your experience in learning Afaan Oromoo and Oromoo history and culture. Qarallee dubbataa turteetta Afaan Oromoo mana keessatti baree abbaa kiyyaarraa baree akkasumas immoo aadaalee sirboota garaagaraa ilaaluudhaan afaanis aadaalee bareeda jedhaa turte. Itti dabaltee wanti nutti himuu barbaaddu yoo jiraate carraa kana siif kenna.
While learning Afaan Oromoo, I just like the uniqueness of it. So learning like Makan, like your name, you don't just like greetings too. You don't just say "Akkam jirta nagada." It doesn't end there. So that's something that is valued, and as ada. Also saying your name, like Ankia Baredu, Abraham Dido, Ture, Dube, Chota, Sirpa. I keep going. We were taught from young, but I'm still, have to practice and relearn. Different things like hippo. I know some songs like Hawanawa refer to it, and so I'm learning it too. So there's so many, and learning your gosa and balbala. Just so many beautiful things to learn about Ada. So working on it.
Very good. Thank you, Baredu. Guddaga Tomi. Gafi Nityanu for Tim. Do you recommend Afaan Oromo classes for non-Oromo people, and why?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend non-Oromos learning Afaan Oromo. First of all, I think it's a great language to learn. It's a really interesting way to get exposure to the culture of the Oromo people. For me personally, languages are very difficult. But when I was living in the culture, I was able to pick it up much faster and easier. I think that vocabulary development in like any language is going to be difficult. And I'm still developing my Afaan Oromo vocabulary. But considering the fact that English and Afaan Oromo, they both use the Latin alphabet, and there are certain different sounds that don't come as natural to me. I still think it's like relatively easy to pick up and read once you know the like how different letters are sounded out and things like that. Also, I think that it's one of the largest spoken languages in Africa. It's giving you a window to millions and millions of people, and just even learning like the greetings and how to say your name like will go a long way with the Oromo people. So there's nothing really like being able to speak someone's native language and introduce yourself and just show that you're at least trying to be included in their culture and learn more about them.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Tim. Good Tomi. Gafi Kenafi Devi Gadi Daviste. And then, so this actually wraps up the questions that I have for. Actually, no, I have one last question for the both of you. But before I go to that last question, Baredu, would you advise the Afaan Oromo classes for the diaspora, the Oromo diaspora, the youth?
Certainly, absolutely. Everyone can benefit from it. There's, it's an open and safe learning opportunity. You have very knowledgeable teachers. The classmates, there's a range of learning levels, and so everyone's learning together, and that's the main goal. And it's very great opportunity, and it becomes fun too once you get to know the classmates as well. So they're very supportive.
Good. So this actually wraps up our discussion for today. Is there any last thing that you guys would like to tell our viewers? Also, sagantaa keenya kaguyaa addaa gara dhumaan geessini ergaan isin daawwattoota keenyaaf yookiin hordoftoota keenyaaf qabdan jira. Tim, Baredu, anything that you guys would like to add?
Tim, would you like to go?
Sure. Just first of all, Galatoma Ollaa. I think like this whole education in Afaan Oromo is like really needed. Unfortunately, there aren't many Afaan Oromo resources currently out there. Even for myself, coming back to America, I had like very limited resources for me to be able to practice and learn more about my language. There's only maybe a handful of books that are English translation Afaan Oromo. There's some YouTube channels out there that you can go and practice and learn. But I think it's like really great what you're doing with the education and the advocacy. and it would be great to see like how it goes forward. Like maybe one day we'll have an official Ollaa Afaan Oromoo textbook or something like that.
Well, thank you, Tim. We would like that. And I think that is the goal someday. Baredu, is there anything you would like to add?
Yes, I would like to say thank you to Ollaa. Thank you to organizations like Oromo Studies Association, and also to just different individuals that made Totu Tufa, like that made it possible for us to keep learning, and Ollaa that creates opportunities like this. Baye Garida, Galatoma, and for students who are trying to learn, use any opportunity like music video era, lyrics, online era. There's academic journals, so like to learn about culture. As long as they're academic, hopefully they're reliable, but that's also a great way. So try, and apps for dictionary, very different avenues. Hey, do Galatoma.
Tole guddaa galatooma atis bareeddu. Galatooma isin lachuu waan sagantaa guyyaadhaa irratti argamtaniif. And this concludes our discussion for today. Thank you so much to all those who stayed until the end and to those who tuned in to watch our live discussion. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Galatoma.
Galatoma. Okay.